Alright, what's up, guys? Got the BMW out here at Watkins Glen Boot. Track's just below 100 degrees, 81, so kind of in the middle of some of these sessions I've seen. I just accidentally joined a session in the Porsche, and it was 108, so definitely a little bit cooler in that one. I'll just take out the Brands hatch and see how she do. It's weird, I just don't remember that bump being so big coming out of pit lane. I guess it's always been there. Whew. Feel like I got some rear steer going on right now. It's telling me I don't have a lot of toe in the rear, which is probably true. It almost felt like the back end of the car was steering the car more in the front. Definitely got a lot of turning in this car right now, that's for sure. But just gonna do my thing, warm up, some laps under my belt, and see if anything starts popping up. Right now I'm kind of just gonna see if this rear steer thing that I was feeling, especially through the S's, how much of that is tire related, how much of that is gonna change. So we do a couple laps. A little loose right there. Car's definitely on the loose side. A lot of rotation in the car. The car wants to rotate, so not necessarily a bad thing if you can kind of figure out how you need to drive it. Because ultimately, that more rotation will help you go through a corner better if you can handle the car properly. But only done one lap here, so they're just kind of my initial thoughts and things I've sensed. This part's just kind of figuring out the lap and also feeling out the car. Felt pretty good through there. Maybe leaning on it a little extra hard just to see what kind of behaviors it'll do. Not really being afraid to spin out or anything like that. But still trying to drive the car within its limits. It's like a slow and fast out approach. Instead of just going balls to the walls into the corner and sliding, I'm going into the corner controlled and then getting on the throttle maybe a little bit earlier than I think I should or something like that to kind of ask a little more out of the car and see what it does. Like right there, I handled that pretty well. I think it's very important to be set up well for the entry of your corner, and I really think it's important to not overdrive it. And like anything, there's a time and a place where it may benefit you to do it past somebody in a certain situation, but for the most part, I think you're better off if you're slow and fast out.
One minute 58.836.
Again, just feeling it out. A lot of rotation through there. Depending on your style, like for me, it's almost a little too loose, but again, I just want to keep putting more laps on it before I do anything. So right now, I don't feel like I can do anything to this setup. I don't think it would be a smart decision to make an adjustment with this at this time. It was pretty doggone good. Even there, it's getting loose. I'm just trying to figure out why it's getting loose, if there's a different line I can take to kind of work with that and just use it to my advantage. Because right now, like my initial... if I would have put more wheel into that, it would have got loose. So I had to kind of like guide it through the corner.
1 minute.
But right now, my initial thought, the setup's good for the majority of the corners. I think that felt really good through there. Feels really good through the air. Not quite the same amount of rear steer feeling I had, but that could be I'm getting a little more used to the car and the way it feels as well, but it's not. It's definitely not a problem. I actually went down to third there to actually help slow me down and get a little bit more rotation, because I think if I would have stayed in fourth, I would have missed my apex on the second part of the chicane. Really like the way that feels. Oh, a little too fast. Wouldn't grab the corner, kind of pushed out there. Had to over slow it down to finally get those front tires to bite and turn. Well, I have a feeling there's not going to be a whole lot of adjustments to this setup. I do kind of feel like I need to do a little bit more. See, like this problem, or the problem this week is I'm going to do the 24 hours of Le Mans, so I need to focus on running laps for that, so I can't spend a lot of time in the GT4s this week. Plus, I'm hooked on the NASCAR stuff right now. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Seeing what I can get away with. So, right now, I got minimal time devoted to these, which is a problem, which is a bummer, because I actually really like this. I think is a really fun racetrack for racing. So, it's kind of a bummer. So, I actually would like to do some races, but there's only so much time in the day.
1 minute 59.56.
Yeah, but I think instead of doing a solo 24-hour Le Mans, since I'm just getting back, and that might be a little biting off more than I can handle, which it definitely would be. And my old buddy Joris Thielen from my old Phoenix Racing team, he's on Bushfink, I think they're called now. So I'm gonna do the 24 hours with them. I think it's 2 people. Oh, way too fast. 2 people from Europe, and then 2 people from North America, including myself. So it'll be a nice little 4-man team. Good spread for time slots and all that fun stuff. So looking forward to that. It'll be this weekend. But good news is I think this setup's fine exactly the way it is. Based off 4 laps, and that's not the most thorough examination of a setup in the world, but I'm kind of interested to see what this does after, like, I want to do like at least 10 to 12 laps, because with the Porsche it was fine for the first couple laps, but then the rear end just gets real nasty in the Porsche. I'm kind of curious to see what this will do. back to focusing here because I kind of checked out the last lap or so. So right there, you basically just have to, you're turning the car with the throttle, you have to modulate the throttle to turn the car. I mean, you're using the wheel too, but the car just wants to rotate off the rear end there, so. Here, I think I want to get as late an apex as possible. Right now, I like the Beamer a lot more than the Porsche this week. Or last week, I think I kind of favored the Porsche.
0.043.
Feels, and that is completely the wrong gear, so that's why we pushed out a country mile. Should have gone down to third. See what the track temp is. 99 last time I looked. It's 96 now. Alright, real talk. We're gonna focus. I mean, if you go through there correctly, you can do it in fourth gear. But if you screw up, it's a good idea to grab third. Uh-oh. Sorry, I had to do something. Alright, now I'm gonna focus. Because what's interesting about the tires getting greasier in the Porsche is last week the tires in the Beamer were the ones I noticed that seemed to be gaining more pressure over a stint than the Porsche ones. So I kind of expect the BMW tires to do that more. So I'm kind of curious to see if these, after they did the update, if the tires, I don't even know if they updated anything in these cars. I just know Iverson had to update. So I'm kind of curious to see if the pressures are still following that same pattern where the Porsche doesn't just gain as much pressure as the Beamer does. See, there's even a little bit of understeer there now. So if I would have tightened it up for the first couple laps, I'd already be getting hurt.
2 minutes, 1.18.
Feels nice and stable through there, though. It's not like any rear end steer like I felt the first lap. Just be careful on the first lap, too, for sure. See, now it's just a lot of understeer. I like it though. I think they just made a lot of fall off on the tires, so you just have to really manage your tires. And I think a lot of people just, they wanted tire wear forever, and they're actually getting tire wear, and now they're just complaining that the tires don't stay perfectly consistent for a lot of laps. That's my complete novice opinion on the whole situation. I just think tire management's super important, and I think that's really cool. Because it puts more in your hands how you want to drive your race and what kind of results you have. You know, if people want to abuse their tires, cool, go for it. Not going to have anything to drive after like 10 laps. So I'm all for the tire wear. Sure, it's not perfect. Sure, they can go back a little bit the other way or whatever, but I don't think the sky is falling.
Two minutes, 0.082.
Definitely lost some speed. Front tires aren't gripping as much, so we're losing mile per hour through the corners. That's probably where we're losing a lot of our time. I don't feel like this is having the greasy effect like the Porsche was having though. Yeah, I don't think there's gonna be any adjustments in this video. Just run some laps, figure out the setup. I think it's solid for you guys to use their baseline. You can experiment with, like, you know, experiment yourself, but it's a good baseline. Kind of serious to see how much that affected my speed. I don't really feel like it did, to be honest. Like anything's gonna affect my speed, it's the tires.
Two minutes. 0.75.
Yeah, looks like it's hurting us in the straight line for sure. Might make an adjustment to the front, because it is, when you get like the 8 laps in, we're starting to get a lot of understeer. I'm gonna underdrive it a little bit, try and get rid of some of that. See how if that's the problem. Maybe I'm just overdriving into corners. And that should rotate more right there, I believe. I feel like this is the problem. I was having a Brands hatch, and I feel like I'm just running out of rotation adjustments in general. We'll see though. But one of the things that really helps that I'm not sure if I need to make an adjustment to make it rotate more, or if I just need to slow down my entry. A lot of reasons you'll start pushing if you're just driving too hard on entry, burning up those fronts. Yeah, you really want that to dive in. You don't want it to push like that. Alright. Let's see what we got here. I just have a feeling we already have a pretty imbalanced setup as far as trying to get things figured out. That's what the tires looked like. So we'll go down one click here, because she has 29.6 and we want to get 29 all around. So I'll do that. But technically we made an adjustment. And then I think I'm trying to do something with the front end here. And we got max cambers. I mean, we're getting pretty even wear too, so that's good. Alright, cool. So we still got some of this left, so we'll just do more of it. We'll go 2 more clicks. So we're just trying to increase the responsiveness of the front end, just transfer that weight from the front to the rear, or the rear to the front quicker. which should help our turn in a little bit. It'll also transfer weight from side to side a little bit quicker, which should help our turn in. We're on wing 3. It's fine. Let's go one more click toe in. Now it's actually funny because I learned this thing that I didn't realize, but actually to have better turn in, you want toe in. Right now we have toe out because it's negative toe in. And like the prevailing thoughts have always been that toe out creates better turn in. Well, I guess it doesn't. What it does is it makes it a little bit more like stable as you're transitioning in, and then once you get in it, then it's a little bit better because the inside tires kind of turn in the same direction. But you got to think like most of the grip is going to the tire, the front outside tire, whatever side that's going to be on. So that's actually the more important tire. So having them both point in, that tire's already kind of pointed into the corner. So let's experiment with that. I read this about a month ago. Just blew my mind. But when you actually start thinking about, because the way I always thought about it is like if you have toe out, let's say we're turning into the corner that way, it's great because this tire is already looking that way, and then this tire is kind of following it. But the main point is this tire is the one that has all the grip. So yeah, that's great. This tire is already looking into the corner, but this is the one that really matters, and it's not looking into the corner. It's out here, right? So if we go toe in, now it's already looking into the corner, and this creates more front end stability just like it would in the rear when you have your tires pointed in. So that's the way I kind of thought about it in my head to make it make sense. So we'll see how it feels. Yeah, I always thought the opposite. I always thought toe out made for faster. See, like, you gotta really... I'm in not hit anything mode right there. And I still hit something because it has ABS. Oh, I hate ABS. You gotta be really careful the first lap going through the S's. Like, really careful. Because it wants to kill you. And I'm making it turn more, so it's going to make you want to kill you more. So you just really need to be paying attention right here first lap. Because it will kill you. And I can't tighten it up there for the first lap, because then we're going to be terrible 7 laps in and after. It's going to be torture. So just kind of got to fight through that. Let's see, what's the... temperature is 97, so that actually went up a degree from last time we looked. It's just the middle of the corner is where it kind of... It's almost like I didn't need to make that tone adjustment, because where I really need the rotation is in the middle. But put some laps on her and see how it feels, because maybe if it does give me a little bit more initial rotation, then that'll kind of create a momentum of the rotation through the corner. Too early apex. Let's see how it feels on the second lap. I've done a little warm up. Little driver error there. I turned in too early, so I had a double turn in. Kind of turned back out and then turned back in, so I didn't apex too early. Rear end feels a lot better on the second lap through there. That was the second lap, right? Feels good right now, but we're still on the good tires. Gotta wait a couple laps and all this good burn off. This is when the car's still fast. Ooh, double upshifted. Ooh, too fast, too fast. Dang it. Good thing is the track's equalized and it's not really changing temp anymore, so we got a nice consistent number there. Oh, it's actually going back up. It's up to 99 now. So it went from 99 down to 96. Now it's going back up to 99. I haven't really seen it go back up that much before. Usually it just keeps going down. It's so fucking insane, dude. You cannot save, like, if I had a car that I could turn the ABS off, we wouldn't have hit the wall right there. You're so effed when you get sideways in this car. It's so frustrating. It takes all the control out of your hands. You're just a passenger. I mean, 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to spin out there because I've seen how hard I could power slide it out of the corner. But you should never hit the wall there. Alright, kind of like the way that felt, so I'm gonna go one more click in the front. I need to find something to get the car to turn in the middle. I'm out of options. Can't lower the front. I can't raise the rear anymore. I can't stiffen up the rear. I mean, I can get rid of wing, but that's never the answer I like. I could take toe out of it. That's not the answer I like. I could get rid of another click of rebound, but we're almost out of rebound. I could go even stiffer on the rear springs, can I? Yeah, I can go. Screw it. Let's do it. We're doing it. Alright, so we gotta go back down. Not hard to figure that out because it's the limit. Actually gonna try and get the right side lower than the left side. So what I'm doing here is in effect just making the rear end stiffer. So it's creating a stiffer rear roll center in the rear, which just means you're putting more rotation in the car. What am I doing wrong here? Alright. So, this is like, because I don't think we have any more adjustment after that rear spring. Like, I think, we'll see how, this is probably going to be sheer death going through the chute. So by stiffening up the rear relative to the front, you're going to create more rotation in the car. And it's kind of going to be everywhere. Actually, that felt better than last time. Huh. Way too fast. Looking at other stuff. Recovery. Ooh, good recovery. Alright, this is weird. The rear end feels more stable. I wasn't expecting that. The only thing I can think of is it's more for the aerodynamics to push down on. Yeah, I don't know, man. I ain't no scientist. I ain't no engineerist. I do like that middle rotation right there. Woo! Yep, 3 years ago. You ain't saving that. No way, no how. Just got a little bit of grass. Got me a nice little slip. Wow, that feels more stable too. Why did that make everything more stable? Maybe it just needed those springs to find its happy place. Oh my god. This is exciting. See what happens. Yeah, highest confidence I've had in the car. Like, I feel like I can just floor it right here and we're alright. Yep. I mean, a little sideways, but we're still having fun. Yeah, I got, like, my confidence is like 8.5 out of 10 right now. So that usually tells me I'm going the right direction with the setup. That front bump stiffness really helps out there when you're changing direction, because it'll transfer the weight quicker from one side to the other. So when you're in like that slalom type situation, the front end's more darty, more responsive in theory. What's the weather doing? Again, I like the middle rotation through there. It's subtle. It's not a whole lot better, but it's just enough to where... Oh my goodness. I just can't hit the one thing I need to hit. There we go, finally hit it. Weather's back down, track's back down to 97, so we're kind of basically staying in the same area. Too bad I butchered the second half of that lap, because it could have been a good one, but... Yeah, a little too concerned about the weather, but the main point is I think it's feeling gangbusters right now. I'm pumped on this. Best lap, and I was
1 minute 58.
driving around like a Muppet. Oh, come on, man. Driver error. Bad turn in, a little bit too much speed on entry. Resulted in a push and missed apex. Alright, what lap is this of this stint? Lap 3. A good solid 10 lap run. See where because the push starts kicking in around lap 6 and lap 7. So let's see what happens this time. Oh, too fast. I'm also being a little bit more aware of my front tires this run, so that might help a little bit get rid of some understeer. Might not driving quite as hard in the corners as I was last stint. I definitely feel like this is a improvement. Definitely a change worth keeping. It just kind of blows my mind how much more stable it is through the on the first lap through the chute. The only thing I can think is the suspension's the right resistance to really help push that rear end to the ground, and instead of like the aerodynamics just pushing down into the springs and kind of losing a little bit of their effect, maybe it's just pushing the tires down more. What do you guys think? Think I'm onto something? Why do you think it would get more stable? Because that's kind of that's when you're getting into mechanical grip, or aerodynamic grip, because like what I was talking about was more mechanical when you make the rear stiffer, but when you get into the aero stuff, you actually want a stiffer suspension to kind of not just collapse under all the weight of the downforce. I don't know. Think I'm on the right path?
1 minute 58.854.
Still doing 58s. I think it's probably where it's going to drop off. What lap is this? Lap 4? What's really weird is the straight line speed starts suffering. That's what really gets me scratching my head. It's like once tires get a little bad. Like, it used to be the opposite. They used to get faster, but look how much drag that is. That's in one lap. And all of a sudden there's that much drag. And I feel like it's the tires causing it, but I just don't. It does kind of seem weird. Like, I will get a little bit on the bandwagon of how fast that just dropped off. Like, I don't feel like I was super abusive with the car. I feel like tires should have kept a little bit more pace than that. I don't know. Not a race car driver. What I'm curious to see is how the rotation is through the middle of the corner after 7, 8, 9 laps. But as a platform, this thing feels pretty good right now. Just main problem will be the understeer later in the stint, if it is a problem. It's so much better through there too, so that's where it kind of throws me off with when I was talking about mechanical grip. Like, making that rear end stiffer made that actually hook up better through there. That's one thing about tuning, is a lot of it's just like specific to certain situations. Like, all right, well, in that situation, putting stiffer springs in it had that result, so you kind of gotta remember that if you can, and use it another time. So that's where just, you know, sometimes we run out of options, and that was the right move to make the rear end stiffer, but we had a completely different than expected result. So that's always kind of fun when stumble upon those little things. Definitely highly recommend you guys underdrive the car on entry, because I think everybody's going to be suffering from tight cars. So I think the more you take care of your front tires, the better off you'll be. That means letting a couple people pass you in the beginning, so be it. You'll be better off. They'll probably overdrive their car, make a mistake, wreck, run into somebody else. Just keep racing your race. Still got to be careful through there. You really are still driving the car through the corner with the throttle. Like, slowly modulating the throttle to work the rotation. Way too fast, blew it. Alright, now we're getting on our 6th lap, so now we'll get into the, see how it behaves through the middle.
1 minute 59.665.
Still feel like that was a lot better time than we were running. I feel like we were running 2 minutes by this time last time. One of my better lines through the chicane. Definitely need to work on my timing when to get back on the throttle there. It's not perfect, but it's much better than it was. It's just interesting the way the cards are kind of struggling here this week. Like the Porsche, I'm struggling with that rear end grip after a couple laps, and the Beamer, I'm struggling with the front end grip after a couple laps. Almost turned itself all the way around the corner, almost had the wheels straight. And these, you just want to make sure you're getting your apexes, because you miss them, you're just torturing your tires. That was a little too early on the apex, I want to get that one a little later. Happy with the pace the car's got, it's definitely better than it was before.
1 minute 59.788.
Lap 7 in the stint. Nice and stable through there. There we go, that was a really good line that time. Yeah, it was a good time to get on the throttle. Whew. Rear end kind of got a little greasy there. It was pretty aggressive through the corner, but you definitely need to drive these cars after a couple laps here, without a doubt. You can't just point it and oh. I'm so afraid to actually get sideways. Like, normally I don't mind like spinning the car out, giving it a little gas, because then I can just slam on the brakes, slide, and save it. Well, you can't do that in this car, so I'm trying to save like every little thing now instead of just spinning out. Alright, let's do like 2 more laps here. There we go, that's a good apex. Just need to carry a little bit more speed into it.
Two minutes 2.105.
Oh, wrong gear. Even in the wrong gear, that still had a good amount of grip for the front. Basically, when you see that iRacing sign, you can get back on the throttle. Maybe use that kind of as your mark. That felt good. Here. You're rotating out of that corner with the throttle. You're using the throttle to turn out of that corner for sure. Track's down to 95 again. A little bit understeer through the middle, but right now I think that's to be expected. Just need to figure. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Still running 59.
1 minute 59.957.
A little aggressive on
Car
entry.
stops on the right. Go to the bottom.
Just gonna do one more lap here, and I'm gonna call. See what the tires are doing. I'm curious that I will do another little stint in the Porsche here just to see how the tire pressures are affected in that versus if I ran telemetry last time. So again, I'm waiting for that sign to get in the middle of my screen. There it is, we're getting the gas. So that's a little conservative there, but if you do that every time, it'll make the corner. So maybe do it a little bit before you see that cars point directly at that sign. But that's always a trick I've used for that corner, is that sign when to get back on the throttle. Even way back when. So here it's kind of understeering. You need to get on the throttle. That starts the rotation. And basically, I could have stayed full throttle there and just held the wheel straight, and it would have turned me through the rest of the corner. Yeah, let's see what the tires look like real quick. A little bit more wear than last time. I think it was 94. I think I might have done an extra lap or something. Let's see here. 7 versus 7. That's the same. See, it equalized out the pressures a little bit more there. I think what I actually want to do, go down one more click here. So I want that right front a little bit lower than the left front. Will that make the car too low? Oh, alright, cool. Alright, so we'll save that. Watkins Glen boot. I hope you guys have a lot of fun with it this week. Right now, if I were you guys, I'd be driving my BMW set over my Porsche set. Just not happy with the Porsche set after a couple laps. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time.